Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, basically I'm wanting to start a wee series here on my channel. So come every Friday until we come to the end and we can no longer do any more. I'm actually want to post a beginner friendly video going through all the categories. Today I'm going to be doing a beginner friendly how to achieve a flawless base. So this includes primer, foundation, all the way to our finishing products like setting powders, blush, bronzer, highlight. Last Friday I uploaded my first wee beginner friendly type video. It was on this makeup look here. I'll actually link it down below for you. It is a full face tutorial, by the way. Yeah. Do let me know if this is actually something you are happy with me doing every Friday. I was kind of thinking of calling it like a beginner friendly Fridays. Feel free to leave me a comment with some ideas or what you would want me to go in depth with. Whether it's a particular eyeshadow look, eye makeup, brows, eyeliner and brows together, lips and lip liner or something. I don't know. Before I jump into this as well, I'm just going to say that I'm not professional. I'm not professional, I'm a bit of an amateur, but I just wing it. I just do what works for me. Just gonna hope for the best, really. So yep, don't take what I say as gospel, and I say that with everything that I do on my channel, and I say that with every other influencer. Don't take what they say as gospel. Whenever it comes to makeup, there is no rules. Although Robert Welsh has taught us that there is no rules with makeup, there is a theory. Amen. And obviously do keep in mind that within this tutorial I'm obviously going to be using products that I love, products that work for me, and this is obviously my humble little routine. This is just the way I do my makeup, and I know that it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, everybody's style, everybody's preference. Let's all appreciate and respect that. So basically the first thing you want to do whenever you're starting with your base makeup is prep. Your skin and your skincare is basically the key to flawless looking foundation. You really want to prep your skin. So basically I have just done my morning skincare. It's nothing special, it's just moisturiser and a wee bit of SPF, and that's me done. Way hey. So once you have your base prepped prior to makeup and foundation application, we have primer. Primer is optional. I sometimes find that if you have a really good skincare routine that you're really happy enough with, you don't need to go into primer. But these are the two primers that I've been absolutely loving at the minute. So the first one here is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturiser. And this is the one I'm going to be using today. It is a bit pricey, however, if you're wanting a dupe, and it's the Forthright Beauty Hello Sunshine Brightening Priming Moisturiser. The reason I like to use this as my primer is because I have dry to normal skin. It's because I have dry to normal skin and I don't have any, say, skin concerns, or I'm not oily, or I'm not combination. I like to use a primer on my skin that just feels like a moisturiser to really hydrate and moisturise the skin and just really take it that extra step in prepping it for makeup application. So that is obviously something that is very important. You need to figure out what your skin type is, because if you're oily, you might not want to give this primer a go, because as I say, it just feels like a moisturiser, and you can see the nice glow that it gives to my skin. I love that. But if you're oily, this isn't going to work for you, unless it is, unless it does, unless you want it to. So you obviously want to go in with a primer that is obviously for your skin type. That is going to make such a difference in not only how your foundation and your base makeup is going to look, but it has a lot to do with the longevity of your foundation and your makeup as well. The foundation I'm going to be taking today is the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation. That's like such a mouthful. Okay, so I don't know why it looks so light on camera, but trust me, it matches my skin. Or it matches my neck, if nothing else. But basically the reason I'm taking this foundation is because, again, I love it and it works really, really well with my skin type. I love it. I love how it looks on my skin, how it sits, how it performs on my skin, and how it lasts all day. Oh, the coverage is absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love this foundation. I'm going to talk about tools now. So you obviously have your two options. Or you could use your fingers as well. Who am I to judge? Honestly, use your feet. So you can either use a foundation brush or a beauty blender. I kind of switch between the two, and it's not for any particular reason. I find that I am able to achieve full coverage with both of these products, with the brush and the beauty sponge. But that's obviously the finish that I get with a beauty sponge. and you're just going to just go over the skin, just really pressing that in. But I'm going to finish off my skin with the foundation brush, just to kind of show you that I'm able to achieve the exact same coverage and finish with either a brush or the sponge. It just kind of depends on what you feel comfortable with or what your preference is. Also, whenever I'm blending out my foundation, as you can see, I'm not swiping. Like, I'm not. That feels so horrible. I'm pressing the foundation into my skin. I find that this just really gets that full coverageness for you, and I find that it also stops you from getting, you know, like brush strokes or like brush marks on your skin. For concealer, I'm taking the HNB Hollywood Soft Focus Concealer in the shade 0.5M. So a concealer can do basically two things. A concealer is to heighten, brighten, highlight and conceal. So a concealer is obviously going to conceal any blemishes or dark circles within the under eyes or around the skin, and it's also going to highlight the under eyes and just act as a wee bit of a highlight in the face. But for myself, I just like to use my concealer to brighten, because I use such a full coverage foundation and I don't have any skin concerns such as acne or spots or anything like that, and I don't have any like dark circles or dark under eyes or anything. I don't necessarily need to use a concealer to like cover or hide blemishes or anything like that. And obviously the coverage of the foundation, I don't need any more coverage on my under eyes, but I like to get quite a brightening concealer to brighten my under eye, because I just love a bright under eye. If you don't, that's completely optional. Again, optional to you. But I love having a bright under eye. Just amazing a wee bit. And again, I'm just using my sponge. Feel free to go in with a brush to blend out your concealer as well, like a wee chill up brush or something, or you could even still just go in with your foundation brush. Whenever you're a beginner, try and test every technique. See what works for you, see what you like, see what you don't like, you know, just do whatever. And whenever I say beginner, I don't mean somebody that's like 15, 16, 13, 12, whatever. I'm talking about all ages, because we start using and applying makeup at all ages. Whether you're 13, 37 or 53 or 70, who cares? You know, makeup has no gender and no age, so have fun with it. Cream contour or cream bronzer. This part is completely optional. But if you know me, and if you are a frequent watcher of my channel, you would know that I am obsessed with cream bronzer, cream contour. I love it. It is a step in my routine that I can't not do. It's just, I love it. It's absolutely amazing. I feel like it just ties everything together and it just creates the most perfect base prior to applying your powder products, if that's maybe what you're wanting to go in with then next. Like, I know it might seem a wee bit scary if you are a beginner, but don't be scared. Just makeup can sense your fear, you know. But whenever it comes to cream bronzer or cream contour, it kind of depends on maybe what you're wanting to do with it in terms of your shade and everything. So I don't like to contour as such, couldn't care less, to be honest. Don't really care, but I just like to bronze. So because that is my preference, I like to go for a cream bronzer slash contour that is more warm toned, because it's going to warm up my face. If you're one to contour and bronze at the same time with a cream product, you're going to want something that is pretty neutral, so it's not too warm toned and it's not too cool toned. And if you're just wanting a contour, you're going to want something that's going to be a wee bit more cool toned to create that shadow within the face. So the one I'm using is the MUA Pro Base Foundation Stick, and this is in the shade 180. I was always taught to apply my contour where my tragus is. You know the way people would get their tragus pierced? This wee bit of your ear in here. I was always taught to bring your contour there, but I don't like to do that anymore. I like to bring it up. So basically to my ear, because I want to bring it up. You want to lift the face. Feel free to again just go in with a sponge or a brush. I just personally like to blend out my contour with a sponge. So I'm just going to go in and press that in. And like, as I say, I know it will look scary to start off with, but I do like to press pretty hard to make sure that's really nice and well blended. But as you can see, that blends out super easy. It has just naturally bronzed up my skin. I just love the way a cream bronzer looks on the skin. I just find that it just looks so much more natural than a powder. With a powder bronzer, there's so much more room for error, whereas with cream products, you can just get away with so much more, and it just looks so much nicer and more natural on the skin than just powder products. So basically, with my base, I like to use two powders. I like to use a pressed setting powder, and then I also like to go in with a loose setting powder. I like to use the pressed setting powder first, and this is just going to set my T-zone. The reason I like to do this instead of just going straight into the loose powder is because I don't like putting a loose powder over a sticky or tacky base. I just kind of find that it just makes my foundation or my under eyes look just a wee bit cakey, and it doesn't sit right. It will cling, it will stick to certain areas whenever I'm trying to dust it off, and it just does not look right. I'm going to be taking the Holly Boon H&B Soft Focus Powder. I'm going to be taking the shade Translucent and just whatever is in the lid, and with my wee powder puff. But I literally just like to powder just my under eyes, and I love the shape of this wee powder puff. That's the shape of it there, because I just kind of put it into a point and I just find that it gets up right in that inner corner so easily. I can't remember where I got this, honestly, I really can't, but I will have a wee nosy for these and I'll link them down below for you. And then I also like to do my chin and my smile lines. I'm finished applying the powder to my skin, but I'm still going in and kind of pressing the powder into my skin. And I'm sure maybe some of you are thinking, hold on, you have dry skin, why are you applying two different powders? I don't know. I really don't know. This is just literally how I do my makeup. But yeah, I have dry to normal skin, but this is just what works for me, guys, honestly. Like, this is literally just how I do my makeup. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be completely honest with you. My skin will feel quite dry once I dust this back off. I usually don't like to let it sit for very long, so I'm now taking this wee brush here and I'm dusting that off. My skin will feel not very, very tight, but kind of crepey and dry, and my under eyes will look dehydrated and everything. And I know that is probably a fear that quite a lot of people have with powders, but Scent Spray, my very little friends. Scent Spray is going to become your absolute best friend whenever it comes to baking. So I'm going to zoom these right in. I'm going to zoom these in as much as I can to the point where it doesn't make both of us feel uncomfortable. But as you can see, I haven't really dusted that off yet. My under eyes look a tad dry, don't they? So I don't use any filters on my videos. I use natural lighting. This is just my skin as it is, basically. So once I go in with Scent Spray, that will be completely fixed. But basically all that powder is dusted off, so there's obviously a wee bit of powder maybe trapped in the bristles of this brush, and I am just going to dust that over my forehead. Just enough to set the makeup on my forehead, but not completely mattify it. Like, as you can see, there's still a wee bit of glow coming through in my forehead. I don't want it to be completely mattified, but I still want to set it enough where that makeup ain't budging, my forehead ain't creasing, you know what I mean? Setting spray also comes down to the skin type that you have, whether you're dry, normal, oily. I just like to use a setting spray that does the best of both worlds. It's not only going to basically set my makeup in place all day, all night, but it is just going to rejuvenate my skin and bring my skin back to life, bounce it back again, so it's not as flat, dry and dull. Okay, so the one I love, and oh, it's honestly the best setting spray, the Morphe Continuous Mist, because it's just so easy, and I find that it is very beginner friendly as well, because it does come in an aerosol can and it's a continuous mist. You know, it doesn't score out at your face. It's not going to leave blobs on your skin or anything like that. It's just so easy. Just, that's it, done. See, whenever it does come to setting spray, obviously just try and use what works for you, and obviously do take into consideration your skin type and everything, but I do feel like this is such a perfect beginner friendly setting spray because it not only does such an amazing job at setting and keeping your makeup in place, but it just makes your skin look gorgeous. It doesn't necessarily provide your skin with a glow or a dew or anything, so I do feel like if you have a matte skin, oily skin, you could use this setting spray. No matter what your skin type, you definitely would be able to use this setting spray because it just rejuvenates your skin again. I'm going to zoom these in so you can see my under eyes now that I have used setting spray. You can see that everything is perfectly set in place, but my under eyes do not any longer look as dry. Love that for me. So this is the part where I'm kind of like, just do you. Just wing it. Most people like to go in with bronzer now. I don't. I like to go in with my highlight and then bronze. No, I like to do my highlight first, then my blush, then bronzer. Reason being for that is because I'm obsessed with highlight. Years later, I'm still obsessed with highlight. I must be the only person. Can't be the only person. I'm one of the very few of us. We're a dying breed of people that love a blinding highlight. I don't like a blinding highlight as much or as glittery as I used to, but I still like quite an intense highlight. Again, that's optional to everybody. Not everybody's gonna like that. I do. You know, sue me. But the one I'm going to be taking today is the Dull Light Highlighter in the shade Shine Brown. This wee one here. This is the darker one of the two because obviously I do have a wee bit of tan on at the minute. I'm going to take this on my fan brush, but I love applying my highlighter with a fan brush because I just kind of find that because it is so wide, because it has like a bit of a wide span to it, it just dusts the highlighter over the skin so beautifully and effortless. You know, like it's not like, say for example, the Morphe M510, you know, where you're maybe going to be applying highlight and it's just going to be like focusing this wee area where you're just going to have like a wee landing strip. This is obviously just going to disperse the highlighter so beautifully over the skin, and it's going to kind of blend it out at the same time as applying it, whereas you're just going to be so much more precise with a wee brush like this. Did I even tell you why I like to do my highlight first? I think I started off by telling you why I like to do my highlighter first, and then never told you. So basically I like to do my highlighter first. Oh yeah, that's right, I did start to tell you this. Basically I love an intense highlight. Boom. And I feel like, yes, see whenever it's left like this, it looks crazy. I completely agree. I completely agree. But now that I go in with my blush and I'm also going in with my bronzer, and it all kind of melts and blends together. As I'm blending my blush, it's blending out the highlight and kind of taking away a wee bit of the intensity. As I'm applying my bronzer, it's also blending out the blush and the highlight. Does that make sense? And I'm going to be taking the Colourpop Foxy blush, this wee one here. So I am just going to apply this blush quite high up my cheekbones, and not completely on top of my highlight, as you can see, but kind of 50-50. I'm half on it, half off it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be taking the Shapeshifter palettes from Be Perfect Cosmetics. These are two palettes. These are also beginner friendly, I feel, because you kind of have basically everything you need to finish off your base makeup in here. This top part here is bronzers and contours, and we also have two wee setting powders or brightening powders. In the other wee bit, the bottom, we have highlighters and blushes. This does retail for $29.99, but of course it's Be Perfect Cosmetics. Feel free to use my code to get 20% off. So I'm going to go in and use this wee palette here to bronze. I've been loving this wee palette recently. I've been using it absolutely constantly, and this is the shade that I have been using. And I'm just going to take any old wee brush Again, I don't really know much of the theory of bronzer, I just also wing it. But I also just don't like to go too heavy-handed with bronzer. As I was saying at the start, I don't really like powder bronzer that much. I kind of find that there's a very fine line between it looking alright and nice and just patchy and just dirty or something. And that happens quite a lot with me, so I kind of like to take my time with bronzer now and just build it up. And just really make sure that I'm kind of blending it as I go along. But as you can see, like, I'm also just like blending that into my highlight and blush. Okay guys, so that is actually everything done. I will be back after I finish everything off to show you the finished look. Okay, so I've literally just finished filming with the Anastasia Norvina palette, the Volume 4 palette. Mate. It's going to be my next tutorial, so you'll obviously see it then, but holy hell. But guys, this does come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that I kind of helped you out with some wee tips and tricks along the way. This is obviously kind of my aim for this series, and I do hope that it helps at least one of you. I know that I'm not a professional. I'm not claiming to be a professional. I know that maybe some things that I do are maybe frowned upon by professionals and whatever, but there's no rules to makeup, you know. Do what you want, do what works for you. Screw what anybody else says, screw what I say, for God's sake. You know, just play with makeup. That's the beauty of it. It comes off at the end of the day, play with it. If it doesn't work out, go again. You know, try different things, experiment. But of course, please do let me know down in the comment section below what you want me to do next, beginner wise, and I will be sure to get that up for you. Other products that I did use will be a listed link down below as per usual, along with my discount code for Be Perfect Cosmetics. So if you are a beginner, you want to buy and try some makeup, of course use my code for 20% off absolutely everything on Be Perfect Cosmetics. They not only have their own products, but they have a mega store where they have Holly Boone, P. Louise, numerous makeup brands basically, so go and check them out. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.